Hello. I am sad to say that today I have to discuss a hate crime that was done to me. So, someone put, I don't want to touch it, still investigation and things gonna be going on. But I don't know if you can see this in my car. Let's see here. This is what I first seen when it first happened, was this. Then later, as I was trying to report it to a police officer and I pulled it out, I later then seen this side. Stole, what is it? Get back immediately, no slaves allowed. A lot of hate talk against blacks, slaves. Get back. So what they referencing get back to where, unfortunately, people think that we all were in Africa, but I actually was born in America. Ignorance. Basically, ignorance. So like I said, just the first side just really was creepy. You know, this is what So, you know, because when you think about the work that went into that, so a person literally wrote on a piece of paper, went into my car, put it right in my car where I could see it. So for me, what happens is I was going to my car and I seen, stuff, paper and little stuff around my car. And I'm just like, now, a lot of times I tend to see that, sometimes. And I'm always like, where's all this paper coming from? At my car, and I don't really see it around nobody else's. So I seen the paper and stuff around the car, and so I'm scooting stuff over and stuff and trying to get over to my car. Then as I got over to my car, I seen some yellow stuff in my seat. Now I keep my car very clean, very, very clean. And I don't keep anything in my car. I've just always known you don't want nobody steal anything. You don't leave anything in your car to even draw attention to them. And then you just don't leave. Also, because my car has constantly been broken into. Now, this is at my home. I want to say at least every year, or maybe more than once a year. And sort of the same scenario that they go into my car and don't particularly take anything. But just like, because at first I would leave some stuff in like the glove compartment or the middle piece, of the car, and then I just started leaving very few stuff. Well, not, really nothing, but I know they put something even on my dash thing. And you all know, do a lot of TV stuff and different stuff like that. So that was on the dash. And I'm like, where did they even get that from to put that over there? Then that's when I seen this, right in the middle. And I don't leave anything out. So I'm sitting here like, well, who? Because actually, I want to say seeing this right there is what drew me. Because I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I don't leave nothing out in my car. Where's this piece of paper, this green piece of, So then that's when I started looking, and the air freshener thing that was on the ground by my car, I realized that's an air freshener I have on my dangling from my car, and that I usually put there. Now I'm sitting there thinking, as I say, I keep discovering more and more. Now I'm sitting here thinking and wondering that might actually be the one that was dangling from my car that they tore out of there and put it on the ground, you know. So again, not taking anything, and not that I want them to take anything because I want my car. Well, I want to say in the past time, different things did come up. I'll say like for my hood, where you know you lift your car hood up and it stays up. I remember where it had leaned to the side where somebody has actually stole that, so I had to get that fixed. So they used to that, and even in now the trunk part where it used to be able to stay open, it doesn't. So I'm wondering if they steal that, you know. So just constant harassment to my car. Now I live in an area where it's not that many black people at all here. But see, that goes back to the bigger picture, that shouldn't matter. You know, and that's why it's just so sad, because, you know, we have the right to live wherever we want to live. I love everybody. I don't have nothing against nobody. I don't care what your race, your color, your whatever. I love you all. I just love people. And people have the right to live wherever there is no certain area for these folks to live here and a certain area for these. I don't believe in that. You live wherever you want to live. I've been over here for 11 years. 11 years. I've been over here longer than probably whoever the person is who wrote this note. Because again, I don't know if it's an inside job. I don't know if it's an outside job. They said on a couple of days before I found this in my car, they were saying that they said a Latino lady had been walking around in the parking lot trying to open up people's cars. And that a neighbor had called the police on that person. Well, I do think about that, but then I'm like, this seems more focused. Because they talked about slaves and, you know, and a lot of reference to a black person. And it's about 3 of us here, you know, you know what I'm saying? So, and you just don't go to a person's car and know that the person who drives that car is black unless you are familiar with that person and you can relate that person to that car. See what I'm saying? Of course, this is video, so I'm not going to say everything I'm going to say. But, you know, my biggest point on doing the video is that, I mean, it's so wrong. And then it's just sort of shaking. I'm just shaken by it a little because that takes a lot of thought to write a note, break into somebody's car, and put a hate note. You're writing a hate note. Put into somebody's car. I mean, who does that? What type of person? You know, so that's where you get sort of shaken by it, because what will they do next? Because you're already like trying to, you know, fathom, you know, what type of person even just does that part. Writes a hate note and put it in your car. And they made sure they put it where I would see it, then sprinkled something in my passenger side that was yellow. I ended up brushing it off, but I just got to thinking I shouldn't have touched, and I didn't touch it with my hand. Of course, as you see me now, I'm using paper towel and different things, you know. But I got to thinking, oh, I probably shouldn't, because that could have been anything. That could have been, what they say, those things that if you touch it, it can make you sick. I don't know. I'm just like, and then in this COVID area, COVID times, you are in my car. In COVID times, not you people who's watching, but you know what I'm saying? The person who went in my car. And I have asthma, nerve pain, all kinds of different things going on. So I am constantly running from COVID type stuff and from people. 6 feet away, mask on. Matter of fact, I wear 2 masks. So I sprayed my car down with Lysol inside. It's just, and then the challenges of trying to report it. So this has, because you all know I talk a lot about race issues. It's not because I just like talking about race issues, but hey, you all, this is the life we black people live. I'm not the only one who lives this life. All of us are living this, I think the challenge is, first, some of us, we get so desensitized and so used to the racism that some people don't really talk about it, whatever. But I'm like, I refuse to be bullied and let these people just do stuff to me and I don't say anything about it. That's how a bully gets away with stuff. They just keep doing stuff to you. You never say anything, and so they just keep on doing it, So I'm like, this I'm reporting, because they done been in my car, I don't know how many times, and sometimes I'm so busy, I'm like, okay, well, they didn't steal anything, and I'm, heading out. Because usually by the time I'm going to my car, I'm jetting out. I'm going to do something or something. Or either, again, like I said, most cases they hadn't stolen nothing or whatever, And again, again, police, I know some good police out there, I guess. Well, I don't say guess. I think you can run into some. There's a couple I met, my brother, been a police. I even went out to be a police officer in LA and where I'm from. Then I changed my mind, started looking more towards the law, being like attorney and stuff like that. But activist and all the other different things. And I got more into acting, different things like that. But so, you always got to watch your encounter because, you could be reporting something someone done to you. And instead of them trying to help keep you safe, they start critiquing you more. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm the victim. I'm the one reporting. They start victim blaming. You got to really watch you talk because, well, did you do this? Well, why didn't you do that? It's like, okay, wait, hold up. They put the hate note in my car. They have invaded my privacy, my personal things, to put a hate note for me to see, telling me to it's like the stuff is written in code, because like when they say the little part of strangers, I'm like, are you really talking about strangers or is that the N word? Code word is strangers. There's a lot of code stuff up in here. Then it's creep us out, and then now they got some initials here. And I'm like, so did the people put their initials there? I'm like this. Y'all know I'm a comedian, actress, and just a personality. And, I've always talked about this. Sometimes so much crazy stuff happens to you. You almost have to laugh to stop from crying. Because you'd be like, did they really do this? I mean, are you? But it's not funny at all to me. Don't get me wrong. It's not funny at all. But as a comedian, you find some funny in everybody. It's just like, because who does this? And so, again, back to, reporting it to the police. And, so again, I've been over here for years and, you get people doing just different stuff in the car. And, you tell folks they don't really don't matter that much to them. But something else was happening in our area. And I noticed that mattered. So, sometimes I'm just really the color of who is reporting, the color of who is saying, the color of the victim. It goes back to, as we talk about black women, this thing that they feel like we're strong, we're superhero, like nothing never hurts us, like you can just do stuff to us and that's okay to do stuff to the black woman. It's our matter of fact, you know what, as I'm doing that, when I went to report it at my local police office, that's basically what the police did to me through the window, was wave me off. I'm like, so then I went to the main headquarters police department, still couldn't get a report. So the challenges that I'm having as a black woman, just even trying to report, and I'm knowing that it relates with my color, because I really could not see a white woman trying to report something and no one paying her any attention. As soon as it happened, it startled me that I went to my local police department, and I seen police officers in there. And so now I know with COVID, they got different things going, but, so I'm at the door and I'm asking them to come here, so I can at least let them know, hey, somebody just put this hate note at my house. That means they've come to my house in my car. They've opened up my car door to leave me a hate note and to mess up my car. What mindset even almost make me respect the burglar that at least they still, I mean, I don't want nobody stealing, but I'm just saying, at least okay, they was stealing stuff to maybe go get something, or they on drugs or whatever. No stealing anything. This is a deep hate crime to first come to my house, break in my car, leave a hate note. I don't know if they stood right there and wrote the note and then put the note right there in my car. If they already had it written and put in. So that's what they call premeditated. And then that's where you wonder, is it an inside job? Is it an outside job? But if it's an outside job, I don't really go a lot of places where folks would know where I live and where I park my car. And again, and this is not outside. My car is in a parking garage in the building. Safe building. Locked building. Locks everywhere. So I'm like, I'm reporting this. Because again, sometimes we get leery on reporting things because, because a lot of times when we report things, people don't take them seriously. Or they don't care. Simply because we're black, they don't care. They're like, And you can tell they don't care. Sometimes they're not going to sit and tell us they don't care, but we can tell how their actions and what they, especially when you've seen how they're treating other people who are dealing with certain issues and people doing different things to them. You see how they deal with them versus how they're dealing with you. And you're like, okay. So black women don't matter when it comes to somebody, trying to harm her, at least in y'all book. I love myself. And again, when I talk about this, you all got to remember, no, I love myself, so I'm not comparing myself to nobody. What we're talking about is the rights and the justice. And that there should be equal, equitable justice when it comes to someone reporting a crime to police or to anybody, you might need to report it to. And then it goes back to the racism issue of why is it that when white people report some, or maybe even other races, non-black people report stuff, that, people pay attention. Especially when white people, and again, I didn't create that. You talk about white and black. Well, do your research and study then, because because in our society, United States society, the white person, especially the white rich man, is upheld more than all of us in our society. Now, again, not in ourselves. I mean, because I love myself and I think we all equal. You know what I'm saying? So, So that means our society and people in our society automatically cater to him and treat him right. And if he has a challenge and he's reporting something, everybody's about to pay attention to this rich white man. Oh, they're paying attention to everything he has to say. He would not have to stand outside the police department begging the officers to come to the door. So you can at least tell them what just happened to, And then there's always an excuse when you tell people what somebody didn't do. Well, maybe they were doing this. Well, maybe they're. It's like, no, the police, they looked directly at me. And like I said, one, he shooed me off. I'm like, am I not human? And this is the same police department that, how the police departments have community meetings. And sometimes I would go and be on the community meeting, And then I got to thinking somebody could even been after me or something. And I'm at the door trying to get help. And because, again, I'm black, to them, evidently, they show. I'm not putting words in their mouth. This is what they did. They showed I did not matter because they kept doing what they were doing. Matter of fact, it was even somebody in the police department putting on clothes back on again in the lobby. I don't know how he got up in there. What was and then they let him out. And even when they let him out, when he came out, I stood outside because I know you gotta always be careful. You always gotta watch. Even when you are the victim and you're trying to report something, you still gotta be careful because this is the same police department that something just happened recently. Somebody was outside their department and they went outside to see what the person was doing, and then they ended up shooting the person. I don't know what the person was doing. I don't know what. But so then that got me thinking, so I'm like, well, one, to be careful, on how, make sure, again, as we talk about performing, black people, we always got to perform, especially black women, we got to perform. Performing means we have to watch what we say, how we act, and what we do to make sure that none of our actions or words are taken in a negative way. So I'm like, now they were able the other day to come out and check on this man that, I don't know if he was just minding his own business and they just wanted to go out there, but here I am actually asking for them to come to the door. And then I'm on the phone with the police, because I also called the police trying to report. Then it switched me over, I'm on hold. So it got to a point that I seen that no one was going to come to the door and help me at this local police department. And then after being on hold for about 30 minutes, no one was really going to come to the phone. So then, again, you got to remember, I went down to my car because I was getting ready to go somewhere. And that's how I seen all this and stuff. But, it shook me. So then I went straight to the police department. So I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and go to the store, And so then I got to thinking, if I see a police officer, I'll ask that police officer to take the report, and find out how I should handle it and different things. So I seen a police at I think it was like a 7-Eleven store. So I pulled up and I was like, hey, something just happened to me where someone left a hate crime, where they came to mind, but, and I let them know I went and reported. So I began to understand that this officer was not listening to me. And I understand now what they talk about. It's not always about the colored officer, because this actually was a black woman. Bless her heart. And she was not listening at all. But again, we got to remember that white supremacist mindset of that it doesn't really matter when stuff happens to black people, but if it was a white person, well, we got to hurry, we got to stop and get out the car and make sure we listen to, this white person tell us their story, That white supremacist mindset is in all races. It's not just, so it's in our black race too. We're black, but it's still, you have other black people that have this white supremacy mindset, in the sense that other black people do not matter that much to them either. So I began to understand that she wasn't listening at all, because she kept asking me, telling me the same thing, that I needed to go report to my local after I had already told her about. So I'm saying, okay. So I said, okay, well, thank you. And so all this, and so then I go to the headquarters. I'm like, okay, well, surely the headquarters, I should be able to make this report at the headquarters. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, COVID time, so they're not opening the door at all or whatever. But which is sort of strange, though, because one guy said he had just came out of there. Okay, I just thought about it. So again, maybe it's the color again, because the guy that just told me he came out of there, he was not black. So I don't know, Again, it'd be a whole different set of rules for black women. It'd be a whole different, not me, but I'm just saying, society sometimes gives us a whole, they handle us differently, and usually more negatively. And again, that's not just us talking. This is what we experience. I'm like, I just sometimes wish I could walk around with a TV camera just following me and seeing everything we have to, because they have to see it to believe it, for some people, they think you just talking, but anyway, so at least this officer did come to the window and he was talking to me. I was able to show him that, and that's how I ended up seeing the back of it, because I didn't even know, like I said, I didn't even know this part. I'm going to talk about slaves. I'm sitting here thinking, I've been over here 11 years. I don't know who wrote this note. I don't even know if they live here. It could be a well-orchestrated thing where somebody from who knows where then had somebody put it in my car. Or they themselves may have come to be. I don't know how this all, so that's why I say I'm not too quick to, because I don't know. But we do have cameras, but I don't know how somehow when things happen to my car and I ask for the camera, let's see, I don't really get a hear back on, did you see any? I don't, no one really tells me back on if they seen something or not. And I can say we did have one manager that she was one time able to tell me, it was a kid on a skateboard came through, and he didn't just get my car, but he got some of that some years ago. But again, our car's been constantly broken into for a lot since then. But so this time again, it's the hate note, and I'm like, okay, this is it, and then also that just took too much work for them to do all this, to put in my car and to say hate words, slavery and get out and get back and all the stuff, I'm like, okay, I have to be careful. What will they come back and do next? I gotta, this is a safety issue for me. I want to make sure I'm safe. So at the headquarters police department, so he does talk to me. He's nice enough that he's talking to me and giving me more numbers. And again, he's listening, but again, it goes back to sometimes you're talking, and now sometimes people are listening, but then they just still don't believe you. That's another thing we as black people, especially black women, have to go. And which is why sometimes when I go places, I have like a bag full of proof stuff, and then sadly, unfortunately, when you go to doctors and you take all that, they still won't even look at the proof that you provide. We as black people, we the most race that got to show so much proof for people to actually believe what we're saying. So he still called me number, although I've told him I called the number, it's okay. I told him I went to my local department, so I still didn't get a report. My key thing is just trying to do a report. So he gave me some numbers that then I will do, I did feel relieved in the sense that I called a leader, in the community. He sort of wondered too the same thing, if maybe it's an inside job. You've been over here 11 years. People have always been messing with your car. They leave a hate note and it reference black people, and you live in a place where there's hardly no black people, It's like they knew that was your car. They knew that. So, it's just sad, and I just pray. I pray for the person that did this in the name of Jesus. Y'all know I'm a Christian. I love everybody, I'm praying they don't come back and do that more, try to do more to me. But I pray for this person because the mindset. What type of mindset do you got to hate somebody because of the color of their skin? Go back to where? Get back to, and then immediately, and then no slaves allowed. I'm not a slave. So that's a reference to blacks. Because a lot of times when people think of slaves, they think of as black people, you know what I'm saying? And so, but you can see how it's so coded, because even with the strangers, like, you saying strangers or you saying the N-word? Just a lot of stuff coded on there. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of coded stuff. But to me, this is to be taken very seriously because it's about my safety. Now, other people don't tend to be taken as serious. But I wonder if it was their mother or their wife or their sister or their daughter that someone has left this stuff for. Would they take it more seriously then? But you all know, I speak up and out. So, this video is some proof. And also it's just sad. And I'm in Koreatown, And so right now where they're talking about hate crimes against Asian people, here I am, a black woman living in an Asian community. Well, it's all of our community. I just say it, but it's called Koreatown, having a hate crime done to me. Hate crime against a black woman in Koreatown. And then it's a challenge reporting it. I've so far now it's 4 different ways, around 4 different police trying to report, and neither one of them have taken the report. But I'm gonna keep going because I want this reported. I want to have a paper trail of this reported. So I'm your girl, Michelle Hope Walker. Let me date this video. So it's April 2nd, 2021, which I don't know, it's 12 now maybe, so it might be April 3rd, 2021 now. So, I just, it's to say, y'all know I usually come, and don't get me wrong, I'm not letting it pull my spirits, because I'm always still bounce back happy, but I just wanted to share it, and also, if anybody can help, my Instagram is Michelle Hope Walker Speaks. My Facebook is Michelle Hope Walker Speaks, /listen. My Twitter is Hope _speaks. Not the minus sign, but the line on the line. Attorneys, anybody that might can help. This is sad. This is very sad that this happened to me. And a crime has happened to me, a hate crime has happened to me. And then I'm having a challenge even getting a police officer to take the report. And I know my race has a lot to do with it. You know, I remember seeing and did that report. We had a black person, white person doing the same thing, but they were always accommodating to the white person and pretty much took the black person as being negative or just ignored them. I can relate to that right now. All right, you all. So I'm your girl, Michelle Hope Walker. Sad about what happened to me, but at the same time, still got joy and peace, and God's going to watch over me. But I wanted to share that with you all. I may keep y'all posted on what's going on next. All right. God bless.